Whoa, lighting's not too good today, guys. How's everybody doing out there? Again, we're coming at you today with a very interesting interview. Guys, last week we were able to bring you a candidate for Eagle Pass City Council. And for place 3, Mr. Ruben J. Camarillo was nice enough to join us in our first episode of the 2023 City Council Election Series. So this is what we're doing now. Is anybody that wants to come and interview, any candidate has always had an open invitation to come down, get interviewed. Let the people know what it is that you plan to implement, policies, procedures, any kind of standard operating procedure with the city. We'd like the candidates to come on our show and talk a little bit about what their intentions are. This show, no different. This episode, we do have another candidate from another position, not running against Ruben J. Camarillo, but Miss Sandy Sassano, that's actually running for City Council here in Eagle Pass for place 3. It is somewhat of a crowded race. We do have 3 people in that race. We'll bring them up right now and discuss a little bit about what Miss Sassano is looking to do at the city and accomplish with her campaign. So we're going to go ahead and bring her on.
Hi guys.
How you doing?
I'm doing great.
Sandy, how you doing today?
Hanging in there.
Now, Sandy, of course, I know we've talked a lot. Of course, I know who you are. But do you want to go ahead and give a little bit of background information, just a little quick? What does Sandy Sassano about? Our candidate for City Council Place 3?
Place
1. Sorry.
Place 1, no problem.
Place 1.
Okay, so yes, my name is Sandy Botello Sassano, and I grew up in Eagle Pass. Actually, I was born in Chicago, but I grew up here. I went to elementary school, I went to junior high, and of course the high school. And so we're actually having a class reunion this year, so really excited about that. So it's always nice to come home, and Eagle Pass has grown so much from when I used to live here as a young girl. So there's so much that's already been accomplished, and which is great. But I feel that there's a lot more that we can move forward, especially in the fast pace that the city is growing in. And so we just want to make sure we're going in the right direction. I know there's a lot of business coming to Eagle Pass. I know there's 2 fast food restaurants, which is fantastic. When I was in high school in Eagle Pass, we had the McDonald's. The first McDonald's come to Eagle Pass, and it was a huge event. Oh my gosh. People were taking off of work. People were cutting class just to go to McDonald's. I mean, it was huge, and we had a massive sign. And so that was a really big deal. The whole town just was so excited. And now we get fast food restaurants, and it's like, it's just another fast food restaurant. So business is always good, but you have to make sure you pick the right type of people, right type of businesses that's going to attract tourism. I mean, we have a lot of people coming to the casino and that are from different states and things like that. And so we want to be able to entice them with something. We want to be able to say, oh, wow, they have this in this little town. Wow, that's pretty amazing. So something that's awesome. And I'm not going to put it out there, but I do have a couple ideas that would be tremendous and would generate a lot of revenue, employment, and definitely bring a lot of business. So there's a couple things that I'm looking at. And a little bit about my background. So I worked for corporate America in Chicago for quite a bit. I actually have 10 years of experience working for enterprise, and I was an operations supervisor, and I actually had 35 rental offices, which was super awesome.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome. I was always busy. There was always something going on, but I basically opened up new locations. I relocated offices. So I had to deal a lot with contractors, subcontractors, architects, the city. I had to do a lot of meetings with the zoning department to get it rezoned, depending on what areas we were trying to open locations. And I negotiated leases, long-term lease contracts, which was always exciting and challenging. It's a little bit of a give and take. But basically, what I really want to say is when you do your due diligence and you make
Mhm.
sure that everything is taken care of before you actually cut ground, or break ground, I should say, and you foresee the possible issues that might come up and you're prepared for them, that's terrific. But there's times you can't, because you just don't know what's going to happen, right? I think when that does happen,
Mhm.
it's really important to face the people and say, you know what, we made a mistake, but this is how we're going to fix it. Or this is what we're going to do to make it better. You know, this is what we're going to do. Talk to the people and let them know that you're on top of it and that you appreciate that they're being patient with you, but you know, you're working on it instead of hiding behind, oh, you know, I don't want to talk about it. Like maybe it'll just go away. No, you can't do that. You know, you have to face it. So.
Yeah, and yeah, absolutely, and it's unfortunate that we've seen it as people that um, peek into the governmental entities, take a look at um, the reason why I'm so have awareness of what they're doing is because I've worked for both and actually work very familiar about that, and I like that the fact that so explain to me more about that job that you had with enterprise because that sounds
Mhm.
very interesting to me. It
It,
seems that you kind of have a background that would translate directly into being a city council member.
actually, it does because we had to do our due diligence. I mean, we're talking big dollars, spending the company's money, and
Mhm.
you know, you had to work around the staff during business hours, and you wanted to make sure that you were
Mhm.
considerate in every aspect. So the customers, the employees, the contractors. So it was a matter of managing. So everything is time management, cost effectiveness. When you put a contract out to bid, and typically it's you put it out to three contractors. And what you want line item bids. You want to be able to compare apples to apples, not apples to oranges, and you want to make sure that everything is outlined. Okay, you don't need to know this is the name of the company and this is the cost. Well, what's in the middle is the important stuff, and you want to be
Mhm.
able to compare all of them, like the masonry or the plumbing, all even, all across. And then you have to make sure that they're all licensed and
Mhm.
bonded, and you want to make sure that everything is covered so that if something goes down, they're going to be responsible. They're going to be held
Yeah.
responsible. You don't want to have to chase anybody. And because I used to report directly to the vice president, there was no excuse
Oh
if
wow.
something went wrong. So there wasn't like, oh yeah, I'll take care of it. No, 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 no. And you know, I had to do my presentations at a board meeting with about 50 people in there, and everybody was at a high level. So you had to make sure you were prepared for every meeting. You had to be prepared with all your numbers to make sure that everything was flowing accordingly. So when you work under that type of environment, you become accustomed to doing things a
The
certain way.
custom, yeah.
Yeah, and so you know you hold yourself accountable, and you have a higher bar, and then you have because we had 200 locations in the Chicagoland area, and so there were five
Oh
people like
wow.
myself, and we all had a different region in the Chicagoland area, and we all had to have so many offices. And I actually also managed the corporate headquarters, which was super awesome. Anyway,
Wow.
so, you know, we were in competition with each other, you know. They did this, oh, I got to top her off next time. So, you know, I have to do something better. So you're always
Mhm.
driving that bar forward. And You know, when you go to a location and the staff is like, wow, thanks for doing this. This is super awesome. And I needed this. And so you're always trying to be one step ahead and thinking for them. You know, Enterprise had a philosophy that actually it's a Fortune 500 company owned by one person, which is super awesome. And
Oh,
their
wow.
philosophy was if you take care of your employees, they're going to take care of the customers, right? Basically, if you treat your customers like shit, they're going to treat, or your employees like shit, they're going to treat the customers like shit.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, it was a pretty good
Yeah.
philosophy and it worked that way. And we were in a division to where we had to treat our employees as customers because if they weren't satisfied, it was going to fall back on us. And so there was a lot of training involved. You know, we're always training the staff about being compliant with OSHA and
Mm-hmm.
ADA. And, you know, sometimes they were so busy, you know, they would let things go, but that would create problems down the road. And then you would have to come in and fix it. And, you know, it ends up costing more because you let it go. And that's kind of like, you know, you have to stay on top of it.
Yeah. Well, not to put you on the spot, but do you see a lack from, just in general, the city on taking care of those businesses? I mean, I know we did have the project that was on Misty Willow and Bibb.
Right.
And one of the things that you just mentioned is making sure contractors have bonds. One thing that we did discover through, our information and everything, that actual project in Bibb and Misty Willow, it did not have a performance bond attached to it.
Wow.
So pretty much you got the contractor getting out pretty much scot free because you don't have that performance bond to, get from him in the immediate. Now it's going to go all the way to the citizens as well because
Right.
we're the ones paying it. We're the one
Exactly.
paying those high-priced attorneys at the city.
Yeah. You know, it's really sad
So,
because, you know, sometimes these contractors, sometimes they'll say the right things, but they don't have the information to back it up. And you know, conversation is great, but if it's not in writing, it's not worth the lick. So you just want to make sure that everything is documented. You have everything. You have everything in front of you, your information, your contracts, your subcontractors. Everybody has to be licensed, not just the contractors, but even the subcontractors, because the contractor can put it off on the subcontractor and say, well, it wasn't me, it was the plumber, and so he's bonded, and you know, you need to go after him. So everybody in that line has to be accountable.
mhm. No, absolutely. Now, what would you think? Let's moving forward with you being a of construction, or is lacking within right now that you'll bring to the table?
You know, I think it's important to be hands-on. You know, I've never been in city council, so I don't know. I just know to what I did as a property manager, and I had contractors, and they were responsible to do the job. But if I didn't go over there and inspect what they were doing, how was I going to hold them accountable? I had one specific location, and I went. I had a project going on. It was like I don't know, maybe $500,000 project. And I went in there on a Saturday. They were working on a Saturday, and it's halfway through, and the electrician is putting up the lights. And I look up at the lights. I said, you know, you guys are almost done with the lights. And he goes, yeah, we're so excited. I said, but those are the wrong lights. What? What are you talking about? I said, those are the wrong lights. And no, they're not. And we go through the drawings, and sure enough, they were the wrong lights. Had I not been there, it could have gotten worse. You know, they could have finished it and then said, well, you know, they're installed. I can't do anything about it. But, you know, I was there. So being on hands on, not that I have to be there all the time, but stop by. I mean, I know we have a building department and we have inspectors to go do that, but there's nothing stopping me from going in there because, I need to make sure that the taxpayers' money is being taken care of and used wisely. So it's things that I would definitely do.
Well, I mean, I think that's something that we do not see from anybody on the present council. I do see that they do participate a lot on, the photo ops. Of course, everybody does, but you don't really see them at the place or too active in the projects, at least in my opinion. Um, you, as a city councilwoman, how would you go about bringing new projects in? I do know that you mentioned before about bringing in, different types, not just necessarily fast food that we've been getting, but are
Mhm.
you looking down the road to getting, something different,
No,
restaurants?
we
I've
have,
heard Olive Garden being tossed around.
which is nice, but it would be nice to have uh, a few, not just one, but a few fancy restaurants. I mean, people go to Piedras and they talk about all these beautiful places. Why don't we have it here? We have people that don't ever go to Mexico. And, to go to a nice fancy restaurant, they have to drive 2 hours to San Antonio, and you might as well stay at a hotel. So now they're taking their money and they're spending it somewhere else because we don't have it in our backyard. So what can we bring? I mean, we have to go out and try to find it. We can't just expect business to say, "Oh, there's Eagle Pass. They're constantly on the news because of XYZ problems they're having." No, we can't. We can't wait for them to come and want to say, "Hey, I want to open up a business." I want to go out there and find the business. I want to go out there and say, come on board. This is what we have. We can work together. These are the locations we want to develop in this area. I mean, there's so much to do.
Now, I guess switching a little bit of gears, I should have asked you sooner. How's the campaign going? What steps have you taken in? I noticed you have a nice shirt there.
Yeah.
What have you guys, what has it been the campaign been doing to get the word out to vote for Sandy Sassano for City Council Place One?
One. That's right.
One.
So actually, yeah, I've been having some signs. I got some yard signs. I'm actually going to be putting those up. I started putting those up. I also have some other signs. They're not very large. I don't have the financial backing that we had during the county elections. So it's a little bit more challenging. But what I can tell you is that I've been out doing door walks. I have push cards. I've been passing my push cards around and talking to the community. And it's in I can't say that it I don't want to put anybody on the spot, but basically what I want to tell you is that people are actually complaining that their voices are not being heard. They've gone to city council meetings before, they've voiced their concerns, and nobody's actually followed up with them, which is very frustrating. And actually, I can attest to that myself. And so, something so simple like that, why don't we have some type of a follow up? Why can't we say, okay, Mrs. Martinez, your concern was, the alley. There's terrible potholes in the alley, or there's trash in the alley and nobody's picking it up, or there isn't enough XYZ. Let's follow up. Let's create a very simple process, a list, and let's make some phone calls and say, yes, we got your complaint and we're going to see what we can do, except instead of ignoring it like it didn't even exist. And then an election time comes and we're working and our safety for our citizens comes first. Really? Well, what happened before this election when these people were talking about, hey, I went to city council and I asked them for concrete posts because, there's a car that ran into my property, and thank God nobody got hurt. And, nobody even replied back. And why is that? It shouldn't have to be that way. And then I hear, well, we're going to do this and we're going to do that. Some of these other candidates, we're going to do this and we're going to do that, but it's not we, it's me. What am I bringing to the table? What am I going to do for the city? I look at it as a job interview. When you go to a job interview, you have to tell them what your qualifications are. You have to tell them what you're bringing to the table, and what, they tell you what their expectation levels is, and you have to meet those expectations. And if it's a yearly review, they say, okay, this was set in front of you and you didn't accomplish XYZ. You accomplished this, but you didn't accomplish that. So you have to look at it as an employment. So me being a first-time candidate, I see it as a job interview. But if I were an existing candidate, I would think of it as a yearly review. Did I accomplish what I was
Mm-hmm.
set out to do? And what can I do to improve on that? And I have to keep moving the bar forward. And so I think it's funny when they say, well, we're going to continue the progress, and it's not we, it's me. What am I going to bring to the table? So that's kind of like what I'm looking at. And so, yes, we're putting up more signs. I've got some ads coming out, and I got my push cards. You're going to be seeing a lot more of me. And I'm out knocking doors. And it's funny because they say, how come the other candidates aren't coming? How come I don't see Mr. Davis out here knocking on doors? Well, I can't talk for them. I can only talk for myself. But it's really great because they're really opening up to me. And I tell them that I'm running for city council, and they want to have a conversation with me, and they want to tell me, we need this and we need that. And I'm like, wow, that's great. Let's put it on paper and let's see what we can do with it. So, it's baby steps, I think.
Yeah. First things first, right?
Yeah.
And it is sad that it's gone to the point where they're not following up with the constituents after something has been completed. I know
simple.
when I worked for the city, I worked for the late Hector Chavez, Public Works Director, and he was, in my opinion, one of the good ones. I remember him always telling me to follow up with any citizen that I talk to directly.
Absolutely.
If I get something done with them, call them the next day and ask them, do we satisfy everything? Is there anything else that we need to, fix? Do we move whatever the situation would be? He would tell me, go and do it. Take whatever crew you need to do. Finish that. Get that done. Come back. Call them the next day. Is everything okay? Do I need to go out there today? Is there something we missed? And the reactions from the citizens,
amazing,
priceless.
Absolutely.
Yes, because they're not expecting that.
Right. Mm-hmm. Right. And I know exactly what you're talking about, because I would get that same kind of reaction when I was doing a remodel at an office. Just imagine. So a rental office closes at 6:00, right? They're out the door. They have had a long day. They're exhausted. So the clock starts working for me. Now, mind you, I did my due diligence. I ordered my furniture. I ordered the carpet. I had it painted. Everything is being done at night, okay? And then all the furniture is installed piece by piece, and then everybody leaves, and I stay there by myself, and I'm hooking up the phone system. I'm hooking up all the computers, and then the employees walk in the morning, and they're like, oh my God, is this the same place I left yesterday? And so you see the transformation. At the same time, they feel like $1,000,000 because they're not working in a little shithole place. Now they've got a brand new office, new furniture, new carpet, and it makes you feel good. So if we can do that for our residents, the little things will go a long way.
No, absolutely. I totally agree with you there. Anything you want to give us a tip about, a special project or anything you have in mind that you've been kind of holding close that you'd like to, unleash if you get elected?
No, well, I know that the city is also working on the Boys and Girls Club. And I was actually on the board of the Boys and Girls Club for 5 years in West Cook County. in the
Oh, wow.
Chicagoland area. Yeah, and actually we did a lot of great things for that club and the kids. And I want to look into that further because I think that we need to have more family orientated facilities, events, places for the kids to hang out, but not just like a pizza place, for birthday parties. I mean, like more stuff. I'm not going to go into detail because I don't want to let everything out of the bag.
Okay.
Yeah, I've got stuff working back here. Yeah.
um,
I think the youth is
so
very important, and we have to give them what they need. I think it's also important that we create jobs for our young youth that are graduating, that they don't have to leave Eagle Pass to go get a job in San Antonio because there isn't a job that is in their career path. So there is a lot of opportunity. We just have to do the work. We just have to do the work.
Um, and moving forward, would you be, one of the faces to bring in businesses here? I mean, I know you obviously have the capacity, with the enterprise and what you've been able to do there. Is that something that is going to be one of the hats that you wear if elected for city council?
Yeah, I would love to bring. There's a I I lived in Chicago for over 30 years, and everything is at your disposal. Whatever you want to go ice skating in the summer, no problem, you go ice skating. You want to go rollerblading, no problem. There's all these facilities you can go to. They're all indoors, you can use them all year round, they're super fantastic. And you want nice fancy dinners, there's restaurants. I mean, there's so many to pick from. If you want shopping, if you want events, I mean, there's so much. And because we're so far away from San Antonio, and even our any town, I mean, Del Rio is close to us, and that's what, an hour away.
30.
Yeah, and so we're so far away. We need to bring all this stuff to us, and we need more shopping. I know we have a massive HEB, but why can't we have two? You know, and why not a Kroger or an Aldi's? I mean, why not? What's stopping us? We just have to go out there and see what we can do. That I can't make any promises because I can't, but will I work hard? Absolutely, absolutely. My I'm proud of this town. I have great memories. I have family from here, and my mother is from Guerrero. My father actually was born in Chicago, but my mother is from Guerrero, and I have great memories as a kid growing up. Going back and forth to Guerrero and Eagle Pass, and riding bikes and just having fun. It's things have changed. Things have changed, and I think we need to give back. And I just want to give back.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. Somewhere along the line of me being an adolescent to me being an adult, something got mixed up, and we don't have the same Eagle Pass that we once had.
Right.
Um, and now, one of the things I do want to touch on that you said, moving forward, being able to provide, right, for our residents,
Yep.
giving them options, especially at this point. Eagle Pass was always the, I guess, best kept secret. Where, I mean, for the past 10 years, we're waiting for the boom, right? But when is this boom happen? Or, of course, it's not overnight, right? But do you think now, with the influx of people crossing over legally or illegally, including the people that have to, come in to take care of them, Border Patrol, whatever it is, that they're moving agents here. We have National Guard here. So the population is skyrocketing right now
It
in Eagle
is.
Pass. And it doesn't look to slow down anytime
Anytime
soon.
soon. Right.
So, in your opinion, do you think, I mean, right now is the time to make something happen? Right now is maybe time to leave the old Eagle Pass, in the dirt, and proceed to a new one, a bigger
I
one,
think we
one where we have. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I think we have to move forward and we have to be smart about it. I mean, large cities are very successful because they don't stay stuck in a rut with the same old, the same old compadres and the same old friends, you know. And going back to enterprise, when we would hire staff, we wanted to hire staff that was going to be able to complete the job and move forward. I wanted them to get promoted because that means I was doing a good job. And now, if they were stuck and not going anywhere, well, what kind of manager are you? You're not trying to promote them upward. You want them to move up. And so that's the mentality that I want to bring. Let's bring people that are actually going to be able to qualify to do these jobs. Put the resumes out there, tape off the name. I mean, in a perfect world, just cover up their names. Let's just go by the qualifications of the person. This one has the qualifications. Fantastic. Hire that person. Then let's see who this person is. No, don't hire him because he's related to XYZ. Well, he doesn't have the qualification, or he doesn't have the education, or he doesn't have the knowledge. It doesn't matter, but he's so and so's relative. Hire him anyway. Well, okay, that's going to help them, but is it going to help the city? Are they going to move forward? Are they going to be able to take it to the next level? Probably not. And that's where you get stuck in a rut. So you want people that are qualified to do the job so that they can get pushed higher up. And then we can all, I mean, there's so much to go around. We don't have to be greedy about anything. There's so much, you know. Everybody's got to learn somewhere and just move forward.
No, I mean, obviously, anybody that follows our page knows that there's obviously some kind of nepotism or something going on with
Only a
City
little
Council as
bit.
it stands. Only a little bit. Okay, so let me ask you this, and I think this is an important question, just because it was asked last 2 years ago when mayor and city council member were brought on, and it was just a straight, question. Are you going to continue to let the nepotism happen? And I'll be honest with it. I asked Mayor Salinas that, and nothing was done about the nepotism. Sandy Sassano, what will you do? How will you approach that
You
situation?
know,
I mean, I know you kind of gave us a little bit there, but I mean, would you say something or?
I think that we need to hold each other accountable. I have to hold myself accountable, and I think it's not just a matter of leading by example, because you can be doing the right thing and the next guy doesn't give two shits about it. You know what I mean? So you have to raise the bar and you have to hold people accountable, basically. And when people know they're being accounted for, then hopefully things will change. All you can
Yeah,
try.
we we can hope for the best, right?
Right.
Um, the I know you said you were doing some walking and all
Hmm.
that. Do you have any stories of a citizen maybe that you can share with us? No names or anything like that, but just like the concerns that you're hearing out there.
Yep, absolutely. I have quite a few actually. So I was door knocking and I was talking to a lady. She was outside. It was a beautiful morning and she was raking her leaves. And I approached her. I told her what I was doing, that I was running for council. And she says, my husband and I, we go walking all the time and it's really dark around here. And it was by the junior high. So it's by Bib, not too far from there. He says, and it's so dark in some of these streets. And, I've seen people get attacked because there isn't enough lighting. And we've complained about it. And guess what? Nothing happens. And so it's sad to hear stories like that. And I heard that very often. It's like we don't have enough lighting. So there's security issues. They don't want to leave the kids out playing, especially nowadays because we have the influx of all these, they call them these migrants. You and I know they're not migrants, right? But
No, they're not.
you have to call it what it is, right? And so, yeah,
I mean, that's what it says in the Constitution.
yeah, that's what it says.
Now, yeah, that's probably a conversation for another day.
It
But
is.
um, yeah. So what I'm curious to, Sandy, is have you had any interaction with one people that you're running against, and two, somebody that might be your coworker or your what's the word I'm looking for? I guess partner there in the council, right? Have you interacted with any of them? Any candidates that are
I
running?
haven't actually. Yesterday, I went to the fire station ribbon ceremony, and I was approached by a couple people. We were talking, very nice. And yeah, I saw them. We made eye contact, but that was the extent. And that's okay. That's fine. I don't have a problem with that. But I am here, and I'm working it. That's all I can say. So
Awesome. And I don't even think I asked you in the beginning. I like to ask, what was the motivation that said, or what was the voice in your head saying, "Hey, Sandy," because it takes a lot from somebody to sign themselves up for the criticism, the good and the bad, right?
yeah,
Um, and not everybody is built or made to be run for office,
right.
right? And we've seen that time and again. But so moving forward with you, right? How do you see things panning out? I know you said, okay, there's not too much conversation going on with the other candidates. Now, the way you explained it, I kind of maybe I read too much into it, but it kind of seems that they're not being too friendly. Am I right about that, or is it just
You know,
I'm reading too much into it?
no, I haven't come across them. The only one is Ruben Camarillo, and he's amazing. I mean, he's a stand up guy. He is totally a stand up guy, and I'm behind him 100%. And actually, you asked me a question that what motivated me or what was driving me to
Oh, yes. Sorry.
run for city council. I was actually looking for candidates to run for city council, and Ruben wanted to run for city council. I was like, terrific! I'm going to support you, and I'm going to do whatever I can to help you. And so it kept popping up in my head. City council. We got to. It's an opportunity. I want people to feel. I want every citizen to feel that if they want to run, go for it. Don't feel intimidated because the incumbent that's been there and has name recognition. Don't be afraid to run against them because they don't know what you bring to the table. So everybody should have that. And I know that I'm running against Billy Davis, the incumbent, and that's fine. And he has the experience that I don't have, but doesn't mean that I can't do a better job, right? And then there's the other
Mm-hmm.
candidate, Mariano Flores, which I've heard nothing about. I have no idea who he is. And so, I like the fact that other people are deciding to raise their hand and say, "Hey, can I try?" Absolutely. I think that's what this country was founded on. It's an opportunity for everybody to do it. Does everybody have the right heart at the right place? That's questionable. But so I going back to answer the question, I couldn't find anybody else to run. So basically, it kept tugging at my heart, and I thought, Lord, did you want me to do this? If you want me to do this, Lord, you got to show me. You got to give me a sign because I'm not going to do this. And so I had been praying about it and praying about it. And then one day I went to church, and out of nowhere, during they were finishing up the singing, and the person that was leading the music stopped, and then he said, "Sandy, I have a message for you. The Lord said, move forward. I'm behind you 100%." And oh my God, it just touched me. And I'm like, and I looked around, I'm like, me? Sandy, this is for you. The Lord said you need to do this. I don't know what you're going to do, but the Lord said you need to do this. And I'm like, wow,
Wow.
wow, exactly. How do you say no to God? Really? No, I can't do that. So
Mhm.
I'm here. And so
Wow.
it's
I mean that's about as good a story from a candidate I've ever gotten. Wow.
yeah, because I was looking for somebody. I'm the person in the back, I'm trying to take care of everything in the back and put other people in the front. I'm not the person in the front. So it was on my mind. I'm gotta find somebody, And I was
Yeah.
asking people, oh no, I don't want that. No, no, I'm not interested in it. Like, come on, it's do your patriotic duty, feel like you did something for your country. Come on, you can do it. No, I'm not interested. So it was in the back of my mind and it kept coming and coming. And I started praying to myself. I'm like, Lord, do you want me to do this? Is that what you're asking me to do? And if you want me to do it, Lord, you give me a sign because I'm not going to do anything unless you give me the sign. And in front of everybody there, I was like, I started
Wow.
bawling. I started bawling. So I have it in his hands and we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Um, I know I gotta kind of ask. We gotta stir up the pot a little bit. So, your opponents. Any comments, critiques, even if they're
You
positive,
know,
we'll do that. We're not trying to look just for.
I've heard him. I heard him a couple of times on some of these interviews, and it's like I was saying earlier. I hear these candidates. We're going to do this, and we're going to do that. It's not about we. It's like me, what I did. So that's the only thing that maybe I would look at him a little bit different. I accomplished this, or I brought this, and we were able to move forward as a team because I brought this, and I raised the bar this level, or something of what he did, instead of just waiting for everything just to kind of flow. Because everybody brings something to the table. So, what did you bring to the table?
And there's been a lack of communicating that with the residents.
Right.
Am I correct?
That's correct. But the
Well,
name recognition, he's got it 100%. I mean, his business and he's
yeah,
got it. He's got
Billy
me beat
Davis
on that
in the
one.
city.
But I got
He's
the
had
Lord on my
a
side. That's all I can say.
right, and when God's on your side, who can stand against you, right?
Right. That's right.
Now, going back to what you said, you brought up name recognition, and yeah, I agree with you there that Billy Davis does have the name recognition. He's been a councilman for quite some time, a couple of years, and putting that together with not I guess an incumbent's job is to toot his own horn a little bit to let people know what he's done, right? Of course, because he wants to get reelected. So we haven't heard anything like that from Billy Davis.
Right.
Yet Billy Davis has been 6, 7 years a councilman, if I'm not mistaken.
Something like that, yes. And I was surprised
Like,
because I didn't see one interview. I think I might have had three interviews before he had the first one. And so I was a little surprised. And, he had signs everywhere. Well, I'm sure he had them from his previous election, so it was a slam dunk for him. But yeah, that's all I really saw was signs. I didn't really hear, and even today, I don't know what his message is. Like, what is your message? Why, if I wasn't running, why should I vote for you? I mean, what is the reason a voter is going to vote for you and not her, right?
hmm. And with everything he keeps saying, he's using the word we. So it's kind of a team effort, I guess, since
Well,
he's saying that it's not him. It's Us?
It sure sounds that way. And I get it because when you're in city council, it's not about me, it's about us. But to get to us, you have to do me first. You know what I mean? You have to provide my notes, and I have to provide my resume, and I have to provide my qualifications. And are you a good communicator? And can you talk to the community? And if you make a mistake, nobody's perfect. That's okay. So, what do you bring to the table?
Yeah, I mean, we obviously are looking everywhere for the political news and stuff like that. So, and we haven't seen anything that he has said or come out publicly saying, hey, we were able to do this, or I was able to do
Right.
this. So, yeah, I mean, and I've seen some people that politically have that strategy as well, that they just show up, don't say a word to any media and nothing. They just hope the signs and everything else passes them
And
through, right?
Mr. Garcia, I've seen his interviews, and he's I don't know. I think they worked on the same strategy because it's the same thing with him. We are going to do this. We're going to do that. Okay, but what are you going to do for me, the voter? What are you bringing to the table?
Now, hearing it again over and over again, it sounds very how do I say, kind of like they know they're gonna win type of thing, like so secure to where you're saying we. Could that be the deal?
Could be. It could be.
Because I mean, I'm just trying to analyze the way what's coming out, right? And sometimes people are already talking in a sense that they're on there already, right? So
Yeah.
then the word we would,
like we're already
yeah,
in place, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So,
Oh,
if you had that attitude when you went on a job interview, how do you think your boss or the HR person interviewing would think if you're already taking?
do we have to hire all of them? Do we have to hire all the wees?
Yeah.
All those that are included with the we, right?
Right. Yeah. So
Awesome.
it's been exciting. It's been exciting. The community's really opening up, and we'll just have to wait and see.
Awesome. Well, we're getting a little bit up there past 10 o'clock.
Oh, is it? Time flies when you're having fun, right?
Oh, yeah. Now, towards the end of the show, I always like to, hey, was there anything we missed? I don't know if you're seeing the chats on your end. I have been asking people if they want to. It's just me. You don't have to read any of them. I've been asking the people. Yeah, I've been asking them if they wanted any questions to ask you, to post them in the comments, and we would bring it up because I know you wouldn't have any problem with that. We haven't had any come in yet, but maybe they'll come in later, and of course we are going to invite you for a second interview.
I just wanted to share
a little bit later coming in.
I do want to share with you. Hang on. I have my push cards. I don't know if you can see it. Let me get it closer.
Okay.
So I have my push cards. These are the ones that I'm sharing. And on the back, I have a website on the bottom, which is Sandy Sassano, www.sandysassano.com. And so you can check it out and find out a little bit more about me. So.
Okay, let's actually put that up. It's www.sandy.
Yeah, it's www.sandysassano.com. And that's SandySassano.com. Sandy Sassano.
Awesome. Yeah, I commented it so we can post it down here. We have it here in the bottom. Guys, if you're interested, want to learn a little bit more about the candidate, Sandy Sassano, who is running for place one, guys. Place one.
That's right.
I get confused sometimes. Place one.
Yep.
There is two other candidates involved.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, we talked a little bit about one, the big name, Billy Davis, the incumbent. So we're interested in seeing where this race goes, Sandy.
Yeah. So I have, I just want to ask everybody who's watching this or will watch it, excuse me, down the road, please share it, share it, share it, share it, because we need to get the word out there, and I want everybody to know what I bring to the table. So please share it.
Absolutely. Guys, if you're on right now, do us the favor, please share. It takes 1 second to hit that little arrow, post it on your feed, post it on your friend's feed. Doesn't matter. Just please share. We appreciate that.
So
Sandy, awesome website. I don't think I've ever seen a city council member with their own website. That's impressive.
actually,
That's impressive.
Ruben has one also.
Oh, Ruben has one also. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I need to get on there and check those out.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I like that because you don't see things like that. People here are used to the same way of doing business, no matter what it is. Politics, government, public, everything, private sector. It's always the same thing, the same routine. Oh man, that's awesome. I'm actually gonna go visit that website right now
Terrific.
once we're done here.
Thank you.
We can learn a little bit more about the city.
Thank you so much for doing this. I really greatly appreciate it.
No, absolutely. And we do have you committed for another episode,
absolutely. Right? Name the day and time.
Awesome.
Be happy to do that.
All right, guys. Well, we were with Sandy Sassano. She is hold on. We do have a quick comment that came in. First comment of the day. We got to post it.
Okay.
Let's see. Haven't seen no platform from Davis. Let's give these new people the chance. See if they make a positive change in the city. If they don't, vote them out.
Absolutely.
Ms. Sassano looks like a good candidate. Rolando Fortes.
Thank you.
Always a good guy watching. Appreciate you, Fortes, for putting in your opinion. That's what our country is built about, opinion.
Yeah.
You got to be free to express your opinion, and people have to learn how to accept others' opinion.
Absolutely. I totally agree.
Awesome. Well, Sandy, it's been a pleasure. I enjoyed our interview today. Again, we are going to ask, let me just get a good date for you. That way we can schedule something, and we'll have you back on our show.
Perfect. Sounds great.
Awesome. Guys, remember, you guys got to share this video. We got a website from sandysassano.com. If you don't know the candidate, now's your chance to meet her. sandysassano.com, guys. Sandy, any last words?
I need your vote. You guys, if you're not registered to vote, both Ruben and I, we're certified to register you. We have until the 6th for this coming election. And after the 6th, we can register you for the November election. We do have a November election coming up. So, yeah. Register to vote if you're not.
Awesome. Please do, because Maverick County, City of Eagle Pass has a horrible historic record of not coming out to
vote. But we got to change that. You know, people are important, and it's their city, and it's their taxes, and their voice. So their voice counts, and they're going to make it count.
Awesome. Thank you, Sandy. We appreciate it. We'll catch you next time.
Goodbye. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Guys, thank you for joining us. That was an awesome interview with Sandy Sassano. She's running for City Council Place 1, guys. She has 2 opponents. She's asking for your help, so let's give her some support, guys. Share that video right now. Share the video and visit our website, guys. I'm about to go hop on that website and see what the new ideas that people are coming up with, man. I'm telling you, the game is changing here in Eagle Pass. The political, the climate, the compadres, everything, all that, it's changing, guys. And these are the people that are making waves to pave the way for your children and your future. Guys, I'm Isaac Reese. I'm out.